Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shadow, bringing you guys the next round to Sully's Abode Locals. Seven facing a limb. I lost dice roll. They chose to go first, which they want the first curve. You see, they play out a law. Everything that my opponent plays comes in rested. They find the 9-cost Zoro. Not only that, but if she taps 3 Dawn, she can rest 3 Dawn, set up to 1 Dawn rested, so she ramps, and can play out a 5-cost or lower Odyssey type character. So everything does come into play rested, but it's a way to be able to ramp fast and play out bodies that shouldn't be played for another turn. So you see there they play up the Sabo, which the Sabo will allow the limb player to draw. It does have, if you have 3 or more rested characters, draw 1 when attacking. So all he needs to do is establish 1 more body next turn and be able to swing with it. You do see I do my Zoro, subtract 2 Dawn, it gives me an active, leader will give me an active and arrested. So attach the 3 Dawn, swing 8 at the Sabo. He protects it, countering out. Obviously you want to keep it on the field for the draw purpose, because this turn obviously you will have 3 rested characters. No reason not to. You could always just swing with the law just to get it to be rested. So there are ways to get your characters to be rested playing Limb. I've actually thought about building Limb a little different. Obviously it's nothing meta that can compete, but it looks like it'd be fun. Like a better iceberg, to be honest. One that can swing. So here, my opponent's contemplating on what exactly to do. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he will actually play out a limb, which the limb is basically a search card in the deck. Yeah, so let's look at the top 5 cards and look for an Odyssey type character that is not a limb. And an end of turn, if you have 3 or more rested characters, you set the limb as active. So I believe that's what you are gonna see here later in the turn, but you see he starts off with the law. Law again can only look for a 2 or more Straw Hat Pirates or Heart Pirates. So ends up finding the Sanji. I'm not sure what the Sanji does. I don't think he plays it at all this game. Sanji is, you may put the top or bottom card of your life into your hand, play up to 1 cost, 4 or lower character with the Odyssey or Straw Hat Crew type from the trash into play as rested. Really hasn't played much other than the Sanji that's in the trash. But here you do see the limb go. So this limb will search out a Odyssey type card other than itself, and I believe he's gonna grab a Luffy. Yep, and that Luffy is one of the better cards in the deck. So if you have 2 or more rested characters, choose up to 1 of your opponent's 6-cost or lower characters, or up to 1 Dawn and rested. So of course in this matchup I want to have Gum Gum Giant ready, so it's a way to kind of prevent me from doing it. And you see he swings with the Sabo, ends up drawing, and then swings with his leader. So he's putting pressure. At this point, he's got a wide field. I believe I'm at 7 Dawn. So I'm going to start the turn by playing the Zoro, doing the ability to send 2 back, and gaining 2 back as active and 1 rested off the leader ability, and leaving me able to pop it with a Sanji that I have in my hand. Since I am buffing my field, when the Sanji hits the field, it will be considered a 6 cost. So before I do that, I contemplate whether or not I should swing 6 at the Sabo to bait a counter card, but instead I opt to just clear the Sabo. I'm asking whether the limb does anything else, whether it's an on-KO ability or if it's just an end of turn. And once I realized, okay, Sabo is the better target because that is what is allowing him to draw cards. So after I swing 6 at his leader, he takes it, and then I swing 5 with the Zoro, and he's going to counter out with the 1K. And it looks like the deck runs a lot of 1Ks as far as the Odyssey cards. I know I did see he's running the Film Sanji, which is searchable off the Trafalgar Law. That is a searchable 2K. And in that instance, you can also use the Film Chopper, which is also a 2K. But Here, at this point, we're building a board. The way I'm trying to play it out is essentially trying to save my board and poke at their board, or life if I'm able to clear. So he swings 5 into 5. I give him a 2k. And here he's going to tap 6 and play out a Sakazuki, which comes in rested. And for Sakazuki's ability, you need to have 2 or more rested characters, and you can KO a 5 cost. I did realize since I had a Don on my leader, the Sanji is considered a 6 cost, so it was unable to be KO'd. And he chooses to KO the active Zoro, since that pretty much is the only thing he can choose to KO at this point. And he has 3 Don left, and it's either he's going to swing big at the Zoro or he's going to poke for another 5 while establishing another character. So you're going to see here he swings with the Law and ends up swinging with Law because he is attempting to get 3 rested characters. So I believe get his limb off to work. However, it is a little trippy because if he uses his leader ability, the limb would come in rested and would count herself as the 3rd rested. But you'll see here in a second. So I do counter out, saving the Zoro since that is its technical last swing. He could also attach all 3 down and swing with the Law to put pressure, but so here he swings with the Law for just a 2k, which does nothing, and then uses his leader ability to play out the limb, search top 5 for an Odyssey card, which I think might find another Luffy. Looks like he's weighing his options. I personally don't know what's the best thing to grab in this deck. Haven't touched it yet. This is the first time I've actually played a limb. But I do know that next set it's going to get way more support, which is going to make it a lot more bearable. And he ends up grabbing a Sakazuki, which is a way to board clear. Not a bad pick. And then the limb stands. Both will stand. Oh, I see. So he ends up swinging with the Law so that there is still a 3rd rested character after you stand one of the limbs. So that makes a lot more sense. So that is why he swung with the Law. And here, I'm going to start with the Sanji. Sanji will give, I subtract 2 Don, get 1 back as active, 1 back as rested. And I rest one of the limb, and I swing 5 at the limb to see if he'll give me counter cards or not. And he lets it go right away, which is perfect for me. And the Sakazuki is a 7k, so I decide to attach 2 Don onto my Sanji, my 7 cost Sanji, and swing 9k at the Sakazuki. And I've realized that there's a lot of 1ks in the deck, so if he wants to save this, it's going to take 3 cards if he wants to save the Sakazuki. And really there's no purpose in really saving it unless you're trying to put a lot of pressure on me. But I'm trying to get to the point where I'm putting a lot of pressure on my opponent because I do know he has the 9 cost Zoro, and I do not want to allow him to be able to swing with that Zoro or establish it comfortably. So I swing 5 at life, he gives me a 1k, and I swing for 7. I honestly, swinging at the Law would not have been a bad choice, but the Law is not going to do much against me because he's trying to establish more bodies and poke with the little bodies. So again, I decided to pressure life instead to get him down low to make it awkward to establish a Zoro. And you see here, he's swinging 5. And I do counter out. I believe he was trying to swing at the Zoro, and I don't want to let him be able to clear that body. So there he swings 5 again. I give him another 2k. I'm down to 2 cards in hand, one of them being a Gum Gum Giant. And again, since I have no Don attached onto my leader, he is going to play that Sakazuki that he searched last turn. And in honesty, maybe I should have just swung 6 with the Sanji and potentially still got him to take a life, and I would have been able to attach Don onto my leader to give my entire field a buff. I'd rather keep the Sanji over the Zoro because it does have 1k more in power, but I will take what I can get. So here you see he taps the 6, plays out the Sakazuki, which is able to clear the Sanji this time since I do not have a Don on my leader. And here he's contemplating on what to do, and he's gonna tap 4 and play out a Nico Robin, which comes in rested. But Nico Robin is ability if you have 2 or more rested characters on play until the end of my opponent's or your opponent's next turn, all of your Odyssey or Straw Hat crew type cannot be KO'd by effects. So I could have swung into the board, but I am deciding not to. I'm going to decide to put pressure because I believe I drew into another Gum Gum Giant. I have 2 cards left in life. So at best, he needs to connect 3 swings. And with 2 Gum Gum Giants in my hand, I am sitting very comfortably. So I'm going to swing 8 into his life. And again, normally this would be, 2 2Ks if he has it. And you're going to see here, he's going to dump a lot of cards to get out of this swing to his leader. So the 1 2K and then 2 1. So it takes 3 cards to get out of that swing to his leader, leaving him with 1 card left in his hand. And if it's a 2K, it's going to not go through. So which is why I opt to swing for 7 and then 10 to ensure that he takes all those cards. And I leave 2 Dawn up. And this is where having that Luffy comes in so much play, because you need 2 rested characters, but you can choose to rest one of my characters, everything's rested, or one of my active Dawn. So if he was able to rest one of my Dawn, I would have been in a really bad place. So knowing what the Luffy does now, I would have just swung 9 with the Sanji and ensured that I had 3 Dawn up for the purpose of trying to survive against this. So he's got a full board, and here he's trying to figure out the math, because it is potentially possible to go for game here. He does have more than enough potential swings, and I have 3 cards in hand, 2 Dawn up. You never know, I could potentially be bluffing that I have Gum Gum Giant. But he's going to swing 9 with his first swing. I'm going to take it. I want to take it because I want to give myself options for what to chuck in case he does play a blocker. And I draw 7 cost Sanji, and this is why I chucked 2K out. So I do Gum Gum Giant, chuck the Toy-Legged Soldier, give myself +4 to get out of his leader swing, which now leaves him with only 2 swings left. End up drawing a Kaido and I believe a Frankie. And I think he's going to swing one more time big with, I believe it's going to be the limb. Yeah, he swings 7 with the limb, and I just decided to take it because at this point I know I'm going to make it through. Give him the Kaido, subtract Dawn minus the 2 Dawn, and I draw into another Kaido and a Frankie, and he's going to attach it all, or he's going to swing with the Nico and attach it all to his Law, which I'm just going to give him a 1K, and pretty much game here. He's going to restand the limb, no blockers, so I'm going to draw my card, draw my Dawn, and attach it all on Sanji for game. If you guys like the content, you should subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below what you guys thought of the match, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.